Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. PetVivo is developing a disruptive tool to manage osteoarthritis in horses, cats, and dogs. And with me is the CEO, John Ghiai, to explain where you're at. I know you've had a lot of recent developments, including a lot of kind of executive appointments lately that has seemed to really kind of jump-started the company and done a lot. So bring me up to date.
Well, thank you. So the first thing is we signed a exclusive distribution agreement with MWI Animal Health. They're a wholly owned subsidiary of AmerisourceBergen, very large corporation. They do about $5 billion a year in veterinary sales in North America. And the agreement is not just for distribution. It actually has multiple components. One is the educational aspect to the veterinary doctors. They have a division called Sekur. So we'll be working on a whole series of educational videos and informational videos to the veterinary doctors on how to look at osteoarthritis differently than what they learned in veterinary school. Because in veterinary school, when they learn that you'd make a diagnosis of osteoarthritis, is that it's a lifetime of NSAIDs and other types of treatments that are targeted at more symptomatic issues, while our product is unique in the sense it's an intra-articular injection that treats the root cause of osteoarthritis, which is the bone-on-bone contact and wearing away. So once we get that message out there, it will really help drive the sales team. Internally, we had 4 salespeople, and they were all very seasoned, 25 plus years, managing hundreds of salespeople. And the intent is to convert them into manufacturer's rep, because MWI has 400 territorial managers and 300 in-house salespeople. So we'll be supporting and educating those people as part of training. So, and they do business with at least probably 90% of all the vets in the United States.
Yeah, that's a real game-changing partnership that you have with them.
Yeah, so it's a promotional, it's a true partnership. It's not just a distribution.
Yeah, and then tell us about the product. What exactly is it and how does it work?
Sure. So we developed a protein particle matrix that mimics cartilage and tissue. It's naturally derived, so the base proteins, the 2 of them are collagen and elastin, and then the carbohydrate is heparin that we use. And we created a method where the matrix, it forms a matrix, and once it's injected into the joint, it actually forms a scaffolding. So there's improvement of that joint over time. Unlike other treatments, which is very short term, they inject, they got to redo the injection 30, 45 days, and it's more masking the symptom. So these particles are really wet and lubricious. So think about the more movement the dog has, it's actually cooling down the joint, because the lubrication is continually lubing the joint like cartilage would have done if you have healthy cartilage.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. And right now it's horses and dogs and cats.
Horses, dogs, and we will be bringing the cat product on. And recently, an exotic bird vet injected the first cockatoo. Because they lived like 90 years, or 85, 90 years. If you have a bad leg, that's pretty bad, because there's only 2 legs in a cockatoo. So he injected it, and I think the bird's doing well. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the reports have been pretty good. So we're getting a lot of strange animals that vets are using it on to help, the quality of life. We have a manatee that got injected.
And I believe there was a tiger too, you told me.
Yeah,
right?
2 white Siberian tigers. Seattle Zoo that are doing phenomenal. So it'll be interesting if we decide to do a TikTok video with the tiger.
That's a great marketing idea, actually.
I know.
And you started a nonprofit too.
Correct. It's called PetVivoCares.org. So it's targeted to donate product to nonprofits that are out there helping people and animals. So, you know, we've been contacted by some horse rescues that are used to help children with autism, because the studies have shown when they ride horses, they're actually able to communicate better and function much better in society. It makes them feel comfortable and so on. So I think that study was done at Utah State.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be one of our first donations. We set aside 500 syringes, and we're telling worthy nonprofits to submit their application and explain why and what they're doing to help people and animals, and then we'll be donating it out. And that also provides an opportunity for passionate people about animals to see the success of the product, and it also gives us access to volunteer veterinary doctors that we may not get to right away, but they'll be able to use the product and see the success and improvement of the animal. And so we're excited about that program. I brought in a really good director to run it, Scott Harold. He's run a lot of nonprofits very successfully, and for fun, and he's donated a lot of money to a lot of good organizations.
Yeah. Well, let's do another interview after you get the results in October.
Sure.
That would be a great, you know, update to everything. So thank you so much.
Perfect.
For coming back in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. Are you talking about your company, or are you being talked about? The internet is full of business owners that want your clients. So now imagine if the competition you have now becomes irrelevant. Imagine you didn't have to fight for clients because they are all coming to you. How would that change your business? This could be your reality, because that's what we do. We help you get the credibility that you deserve. My name is Rhonda Swan. I'm the founder and CEO of the Unstoppable Branding Agency. If you think you qualify to work with us, message me and apply today and click on the link in this video. I look forward to meeting you. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Verde Bio Holdings is a mineral acquisition and management company based in Texas with some acquisition expertise in several of the basins in the U.S. And with me is Scott Cox, who is the CEO, to explain what Verde Bio is all about. So just tell me about the company. What do you do exactly?
Well, thanks for having us. So first and foremost, Verde is an oil and gas company. We're focused on the acquisition and management of minerals and the associated royalties from producing wells in those minerals. We buy across the United States in various basins, and ultimately the goal is to build a nice portfolio.
Yeah, how do you choose or cultivate those acquisitions?
So we do it from a number of ways, but ultimately we source all the way down to a grassroots where we utilize the phones and people calling the landowner and saying, hey, would you like to sell your royalties? We see you own this. But I also have a good network of really trusted deal guys who I buy from, and So, through the mixture of those, we're able to really cultivate some nice acquisitions.
Now, when I first heard about Verde Bio, I was like, oh, what a unique business model. But I guess there are others who do this. Who's the competition? How do you differ from them?
So the main competition are much larger companies, and they have very strict investment thesis where, and because of economies of scale, they won't look at smaller deals. And so we really view ourselves as an aggregator in that we don't have those investment theses that restrict us from buying things. And so we are able to make good opportunistic acquisitions that make sense for the portfolio.
Mm-hmm. So describe your business now, an update on your development activity. Of course, we've seen oil and gas explode in price this year. How has that impacted your business?
So for one thing, it's increased our revenue. That's the great thing about our business plan, is that we get the benefit of the rise in revenue because of the commodity prices going up. But we have absolutely none expense related to that increase in revenue, which is unique to this business model. But ultimately, we've made about 18 acquisitions so far. We've got interest in over 400 wells. One of the key things that these prices have done is increase the new wells being drilled on our acreage by the operators, and the new wells being brought online that they're going back and completing now.
How does the price, record high prices of gas at least, how does that impact your business? Hurt or help?
It helps as far as revenue, development, new wells, and gives us the ability to forecast revenue from these new wells well into the future, significant revenue. But it does hurt a little bit on the acquisition side of things. It makes things more expensive. We've got to be much more diligent, much more focused on making sure that there's still some growth left in these things, because ultimately if you're buying right now, you're buying right at the top.
Yeah, I'm sure it's much more competitive.
Absolutely.
There's more of a financial incentive to do business in the industry.
Yeah, everybody loves it when the price is up.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it when the price is low.
Some things will never change,
no,
right?
Exactly.
So what's the short-term and long-term goals for Verde Bio?
Short-term goals is to continue buying, to continue finding good deals, sourcing good deals, and ultimately managing the portfolio. And if we've got some stale assets, it's moving those out and reinvesting that. Long-term, we want to, again, grow the company. We also continue to look at and explore the idea of, as we've mentioned before, potentially an uplisting to a national exchange.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So that's a plan. I know you're focused on marketing right now as well, and that's an important part of growing a business. So explain that part of the strategy.
So we're really pushing right now to get the story out. This is, like you said, this is really a subsector of the oil and gas markets that most people don't know about, and that it's a very low risk way to play in the oil and gas markets and get the benefit of these higher prices. And so that's the key right now, is with IR, PR, marketing, and our budgets that are going into that, which are significant, but we really need to get the story out and let people understand that that we're a good play.
Okay, Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Tonix Pharmaceuticals is researching and developing promising treatments for some diseases that have unmet needs. And this does include monkeypox, which has been getting a lot of attention lately. And with me is the CEO, Seth Lederman of Tonix Pharmaceuticals. And welcome, Seth. And the WHO just recently declared this a global emergency, the monkeypox. And you are working on developing a vaccine for this. So tell me, where does that stand?
First, thanks for having me on, Jane. It's great to see you again. Monkeypox is a big problem. There are over 17,000 cases outside of Africa, and this has all just started since May. Roughly, monkeypox looks like it's doubling each week outside of Africa. So it is a very big problem, and we're glad that the Secretary General of the WHO declared it a public health emergency of international significance.
And your company is working on a vaccine. So where in the approval of that vaccine does that stand?
Right. We've been working on a monkeypox vaccine for 10 years. So we were prepared for this. We think that monkeypox has been overlooked in Africa. Basically what happened is when everyone was being vaccinated for smallpox, monkeypox was kept out of the human population because smallpox and monkeypox are very similar.
Interesting.
So if you're vaccinated against smallpox, you're protected against monkeypox. When we stopped vaccinating people after the eradication of smallpox, an unforeseen consequence was that monkeypox would re-enter the population. So it's been a problem in Africa for several years that's been overlooked, but now it's spreading outside of Africa and growing very quickly.
Interesting.
Right now, it seems to be concentrated in MSM, men who have sex with men, and it's a astonishing concentration given that it's infectious and it's not a sexually transmitted disease. So we and many experts believe that unfortunately it will very likely get into the general population relatively soon.
Yeah. And of course, we've talked about COVID vaccines in the past as well, and the White House recently launched an effort to make these vaccines more durable. I mean, we've seen so many people who have been vaccinated and even boosted getting COVID. So, I mean, you have been working on this vaccine for, I think, ever since we first heard about COVID. Where does that stand with you?
Well, we're obviously disappointed that the vaccines are not performing better. We, like everyone else, hope that they would perform better. But we also never stopped our work, because right from the beginning, in conversations with you, we've warned that the vaccines did not have durable protection and they didn't block forward transmission. So we've been busily working on our vaccine, and we're delighted that the White House is now recognizing that we need probably something like another Operation Warp Speed to come up with new ideas and new technologies. Because, for example, the President Biden's senior advisor in this said, we really need a breakthrough at this point. And by breakthrough, what he was referring to is we need new vaccine technologies that are fundamentally different. And Tonix has been working on a live virus vaccine that we believe provides more durable protection and has the potential to block forward transmission.
Yeah, and it seems like the COVID vaccines were successful in terms of, I think, of keeping people out of the hospital, or at least reducing those numbers, which was not insignificant, but something to really prevent the spread, I think would certainly be helpful.
But not insignificant, but also, unfortunately, the hospitalizations and deaths are rising with the new BA.5 strain. So even that amount of protection seems to be wearing out. But the COVID problem is affecting all aspects of our society. It's contributing to the supply chain disruptions. It's contributing to the delays at the airports, and generally, a major drag on our economy. So we really have to get moving and get better vaccines discovered, developed, and deployed to get the economy really back up and to save lives.
It's been an unbelievable thing to live through. Okay, so you recently had a ribbon cutting ceremony for your Advanced Development Center. So this is in Massachusetts, correct? So explain what kind of work you'll be doing there.
This facility is purpose-built to manufacture clinical trial supplies of our live virus vaccines for monkeypox and for COVID. So it was a very complex facility, and we built it during the pandemic with all of the supply chain interruptions, and we completed it in just about a year. We had a very exciting ribbon-cutting ceremony in June, and we're up and running, and this will really facilitate our work. In addition to the vaccines that we're working on, monkeypox and COVID, we're gearing up to be responsive to President Biden's AP3, which stands for American Pandemic Preparedness Plan, so that we believe we'll be able to make live virus vaccines to new pathogens within 100 days of identifying the sequence.
Wow. That's amazing. That would be great, because it does feel like more of these things are popping up for whatever reason. So to have kind of some of that work already in the pipeline could be huge. So thank you so much, Seth, for coming back. Always interesting.
Thank you for having me on, Jane.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Welcome to Unstoppable Women Entrepreneurs. I'm Jane King, with me co-host Rhonda Swan, and we've also got Livia Caudell with us today, who's the CEO of Integrity Payment Processing, one of the exclusive companies that services multi-billion-dollar high-risk industries. So this includes like nutraceuticals, online gaming, crypto, CBD, cannabis. So welcome, Livia. Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Talk
Thank
a little
you.
bit more about what you're doing, the high-risk industries. Why did you choose that?
Yeah, well, so obviously in the payment processing industry, there's low risk, like, you know, the dentist or chiropractors, retail gas stations, restaurants. High risk is going to be more like online transactions and or just higher tickets, right? $2,500 all the way up to $10,000, some $25,000. So those are the higher risk spaces that I focus in. And I would say, you know, the difference between me and a lot of companies out there is, you know, they only have access to one or two banks, right? So when I'm boarding high-risk merchants, I'm not limited to just one or two banks. I have over 20 banks, both domestically and internationally. So for business owners that are high risk, it's very important that they have at least 3 to 5 different merchant accounts. Because it's one of those situations, and I can't tell you how many horror stories I've heard where these high-risk, you know, companies, they get set up on PayPal, PayPal shuts them down, their money gets held up. I mean, that's how we make our money in business, right, is by taking payments. So it's very, very crucial to know what you're doing and how to board these accounts, because high risk is just way more sensitive. The underwriters and the risk team, they need to know what your company does. The lines of communication have to really be there, and that's where I excel. And why my clients come to me, because I just know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I enjoy it. I find a lot of joy in doing what I do to help entrepreneurs.
I love it. You know, yeah, because that, can you imagine, you know, that can really damage a business if they get them shut down.
And it has, yeah.
So you focus a lot on also the cannabis industry.
Yes.
Why is it about merchant processing with these high risks? Why is that so important these days? Because a lot of companies, they can use cash, right? Like they've always.
Yeah,
like they've always done.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously we're in a digital age, even cryptocurrency and, you know, the US digital dollar is being talked about rolling out. So being able to accept debit and credit cards, particularly in the cannabis space, is very important. We have just now really been able to take cards for cannabis dispensaries. And obviously here in New York, you know, this market is exploding. And really a lot of the different states are passing legislation. And these business owners, they need to have access to take cards, because cash and carrying a lot of cash can be like, it's very unsafe. And unfortunately, there's been cannabis dispensaries that have been robbed. So that's something I'm very passionate about as well, is helping these cannabis companies thrive, increase their bottom lines. Our data shows about a 26 to 30% increase in their bottom line by just taking cards.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So I'm very excited about that. I've been focusing, you know, mostly in the cannabis space for the last 2 years. And I can't tell you how many of my clients are just like, thank you so much.
Yeah, wow,
You know?
you're bringing a lot of value to
Filling a
their
need.
business. Filling a need.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you talk about integrity, right? The name
Yes,
integrity is
yes.
in your company's name.
Yeah.
Is that one of the values that you hold?
Yeah.
Like, why did you call your company integrity-based process?
Yeah, you know, that's obviously, I'm a conscious entrepreneur, and I love creating businesses that really make a difference for other people. And so where I found the most joy, well, I don't know if it was joy that I found in that moment, but in this particular industry, payment processing, there's a lot of like bait and switch tactics that happen. So not to give you the boring details, but there's 3 different pricing models. Tiered pricing being what I believe to be the most scrupulous and deceptive, because they give you these teaser rates. Oh, it's only 1.2%, but that's not including, you know, mid-qualified and non-qualified cards. And when you start adding up the percentages, you're paying way more than what you were told. So when I found that out and I started educating myself in this space long ago when I first started, I'm like, wow, I could really make a difference with business owners. So I personally use what's called interchange plus pricing. Fortune 500 companies, they all use this pricing model because it's the most transparent and honest pricing model when setting up a merchant account. And it's critical. Every penny counts, especially in today's economy. Hyperinflation, gas prices are through the roof. It's very important for business owners to save money. And I love being able to save them money, but also educate them on the different pricing models. It never ceases to amaze me how these CFOs, they honestly don't really know how to read their merchant statement. So I find a lot of joy in educating, you know, business owners how it works, how I'm going to save them money. I eliminate as many junk fees as possible, you know, so they can really thrive and grow their businesses. So I'm very passionate about it, as you can tell.
I'm sure they appreciate that, because that can really add up.
I
Livia, what would
can.
you say is the number one industry that you're serving right now?
Cannabis, it's exploding, you know, and it's unfortunate because obviously they're trying to federally legalize cannabis, you know, and it didn't pass. But I think me and a lot of professionals in the cannabis space all agree that come the next election, hopefully we'll have, you know, legalization, which will make it more accessible for banking and payment services. But in the meantime, you know, that's obviously what gives me my opportunity to serve the cannabis industry. Is we have cannabis-friendly banking solutions, we have card payment solutions, and just really we custom tailor the solutions based on what the merchant's needs are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Livia, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, ladies.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
O'Neill Capital Advisors is focused on blockchain, medical cannabis, REITs, technology companies. The company is currently setting up an office in Singapore and doing a lot of SPACs with Asian investors as well. And with me is Dennis O'Neill, the CEO of O'Neill Capital Advisors. So great to have you back here in the U.S.
Thank you. I love being here.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about O'Neill Capital Advisors. What do you do?
Sure. O'Neill Capital Advisors, my background is over 30 years of investment banking experience. I've started two of the largest regional investment banks in Chicago, and then went on to run the SoftBank Investments E2 Capital office out of Chicago. So I've raised a couple of $1 billion in early stage capital. I've taken dozens of companies public. I have spoken as an expert and thought leader at 75 conferences globally. So, you know, we're focused on basically what we do is primarily capital introductions. We have over 30,000 investors in our network. We also work as a merchant bank. So we have, and all of our investors are institutional or super high net or ultra high net worth individuals. So the idea here is that being able to help companies to be able to access capital that relationships that they wouldn't normally be able to access.
Mm-hmm. And we mentioned blockchain and medical cannabis and technology. I mean, that's your main focus. So how do you pick those companies, find those industries? Kind of explain that strategy.
Sure. Well, I've spoken at many blockchain conferences, technology conferences, and medical cannabis conferences. So we get to see hundreds of deals, almost every month. So basically what we look for is that we look for companies that have a management team with a track record of success, that they've been able to raise some capital to date, so we can watch exactly how they've deployed that capital. We look for highly disruptive technologies because we look for large marketplaces or marketplaces that are growing very, very quickly, and then that they have a disruption, very, very disruptive technology to where that they would be able, if successful in being able to execute on the business model, that they will be, very, very valuable as a company.
And you mentioned moving your offices to Singapore. So
Sure.
Why Singapore? Why Southeast Asia?
Well, Singapore, number one, is the gateway to Asia because they have a great government, they have a great legal system, they have the highest concentration of family offices in the world. So there's significant amounts of capital there to be able to access. As well as that, for early stage companies, they have grant programs, investor matching funds programs. They have a multitude of associations which will give you support for free as a early stage company. So we believe that is the platform that we can build from and be able to access the rest of Asia.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about business in Singapore.
Yeah, no,
so
it's booming.
Now tell me about RCEP. Am I saying this right? Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership.
Yeah.
Explain what that is.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest reasons why that we're actually moving our offices into Singapore. It's the largest free trade zone in the world. It represents 15 countries, everywhere from Singapore, Malaysia, China, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, and many others. It encompasses about a third of the world's population, and it eliminates about 90% of the tariffs. So you're able to, what you're able to do is that you're able to trade freely, throughout this region. And one of the most important aspects of this is that, these countries, Asia is the largest population and the fastest growing economies. And it's the most undervalued, especially in Southeast Asia. You can find unbelievable value in these companies because historically they have not been able to access B and C rounds.
Interesting. And very young population too, as I understand.
For sure, yeah.
So a lot of potential growth and
yeah, it's booming for sure.
So what is your overall Asia strategy then?
The idea here for us is that the major problem right now is that you have multi-billion-dollar companies that have an Asia strategy if they're from the United States, or if you're an Asian company, you have a US strategy. But once you get below that $1 billion mark, many of these companies do not have an Asian strategy if you're in the United States. So what we're doing is that we're setting up subsidiaries in Singapore to access all the government programs that are available there. And then we're able to match them with investors, as well as that market opportunities for them to be able to grow their business in Asia. And we're doing the same thing for Asian companies, especially Southeast Asian companies, to where that we're introducing them to the U.S. markets, as well as that U.S. investors. And we're taking a lot of these Southeast Asian companies now. We'll be taking them public through a SPAC.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dennis. Great to see you again.
Yeah, it's so good to see you.
Yes,
Always love to be here.
And would love to interview you in Singapore sometime.
Yeah,
So
for
thank
sure.
you.
Let's do that.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Sekur provides secure ways of communicating as to messaging, email. They have individual plans as well as businesses. And with me to bring me up to date, Alain Ghiai, the CEO, to talk about what you've been up to this summer. I feel like we haven't talked in a while, and I know you've had a lot going on. So, Alain, what's new with Sekur over the summer?
Yes, hi Jane, and yeah, it's been a while. We've been really busy. I mean, everybody I know is on vacation.
Right.
Usually summers for our company is a big time to do development, to prepare for the fall with new product launches. What we've been doing this whole summer, starting really May, June, we started to implement and install our new infrastructure in Switzerland in multiple data centers. We are now hooked up with our Secure Suite, which is our document management, to our new infrastructure. We hooked up the email, Secure Mail, and now we're finalizing Secure Messenger. So all of that will do two things. First of all, the speed of what you're getting things at and all the processing power is basically 50 times more powerful. We can now have close to 2 million people on Messenger. That's the capacity, and at least 200,000 people on our email. That's assuming you use all the storage. So we definitely have processing power and expansion power. What we're also doing this summer, we are planning to launch our Secure Mail application. We technically have it out there, but we're working to fine-tune the Android version to make it work better. So I would say by early September, those kinks will be out of the way. And we're doing a lot of work on Secure Messenger. We've done some things with Chat by Invite, as you may have read on our news.
That's right. So you're expanding to more countries, the Chat by Invite. Right?
Yes. So we announced 23. I think we have 25 countries. And for our viewers who don't know what Chat by Invite is, basically you can use Secure Messenger and invite anybody you want, whether they're in your contacts or not, via email or text, SMS. And they can be in 25 different countries. So you have a friend in Singapore, in the Netherlands, or in Germany, or anywhere else, Australia, you can send them a text, and then they have a secure link to chat with you on Secure Messenger. and this basically doesn't impose them to buy Sekur, obviously. We're the only company in the globe that offers that. We also don't require your phone number because of privacy and security issue. And then the idea is that when you terminate the conversation, the recipient eventually gets prompt to buy the product, right? If they want to initiate a conversation with you. But that's really good for businesses as well. And we are getting some people now from overseas buying the product, because we also announced last month the multiple currencies. I know you were going to discuss that. We talked about it right before the show. So we now offer all our secure solutions. So secure mail, secure messenger in, I think, 7 currencies, the majority of the dollar denominated. So US, Australian, New Zealand, Singapore, and Canadian dollars. And then we have the euros for the 20 plus country in the Eurozone. We also offer British pound, and that's quite a lot. That covers, like, 35 different type. I mean, it covers almost globally, because let's say if you're in Dubai, you go to Dubai a lot. If you're in Dubai, then you'll be prompted the US dollar. But if you're anywhere in the Eurozone, you can buy in euro. We've had people buying in euro more and more, and it facilitates. We've had a couple of Canadian transactions recently, and that eliminates the cost that the bank and the credit card charge for foreign currency.
Well, it's just important for people's individual rights. Like, even if you're not an important, person discussing data, just the fact that somebody else can read it and look into your life, it's just, it's a little scary, some of the stuff we're seeing.
It's like having a robber that's in your home in a corner waiting and checking things out nonstop. That's exactly what it is. It's like having, I don't want to call Big Brother, but imagine if you're being robbed, you feel violated. This is what's happening every day on email and messenger. I mean, I just chat with my broker and just about stock, like, hey, I bought this and I sold that. I don't want that on WhatsApp or text or Signal or anything, because I know that this information now is in the open, and it literally invites hackers to come and look into my life and eventually probably, do something with my bank account or something like that. So it's about a privacy. Yeah. So if you don't want to have robbers having, all eyes in your private life, because these data theft are robbers, or if you don't want legalized data mining from the big tech, this is what we offer. And we're getting a lot of traction. The July month was the best month in the history of the company. I should mention, Libra financials too. We've had the best month. August looks like it's 40% more sales than last month at the same time. We'll see if that continues, but we're definitely getting some traction. So we have a lot of financial things we can discuss too.
Yeah, okay. Well, I look forward to that. The next time we talk, Alain, thank you so much for the update.
Thank you, Jane, and thanks everyone for watching. See you next week.
Thanks.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Smart for Life is a global leading developer, marketer, and manufacturer of nutritional and related products. With me is CEO Darren Minton and also the chairman, AJ Cervantes. So welcome.
Hi, Jen.
And I guess let's just start with an overview of Smart for Life. So it's an interesting company name. What is it you do exactly?
So we are first and foremost in the health and wellness sector. We're committed to creating great products, nutritional products, supplements, vitamins, nutritional foods. We have a number of different brands. Our products range from capsules, tablets, to nutritional foods. We have a whole fabulous product line of nutritional bars, for instance, diet foods that are original. Smart for Life, when we acquired that company, we actually renamed the public company Smart for Life because we thought that that spoke to the market and resonated in terms of what we do. So it's really a broad array of brands, manufacturing. We have 2 separate manufacturing facilities, one in Doral, one in Riviera Beach, California, and we're probably now about 60,000 square feet under roof between the 2 facilities. And it's just a broad range of terrific products with great brands.
Yeah. What are some of the brands? Can I buy them at a store?
Yeah.
Like
So the Smart for Life brand itself, you can buy in Costco, Walmart. We're expanding into other retail channels. We also sell extensively on Amazon. We're actually just part of a press release we announced about 2 months ago. Amazon selected us to be one of their launch products in Singapore. So that's fantastic. We're looking forward to expanding our sales in that region in Asia. And we're also selling aggressively direct to consumer. That's something that's been big during COVID. You know, people can't get into retail channels as much. So by buying directly on our website, we're able to help consumers out directly and fulfill to them directly. We also have a couple other brands that we manufacture for that are very large. We work with a company called Milk Dust, which helps women with lactating during the kind of problems with the baby formula.
That's right. Yeah, no, it would be helpful to a lot of people right now.
And we also work with Nickelodeon as far as their Paw Patrol band, which is sold in Walmart.
I know Paw Patrol. My kids are
All the
older
little
now.
kids.
I do know them. Yeah. So you sold in the U.S. and Asia. Any place else globally?
So a lot of our products, as we were talking about earlier, we both are a contract manufacturer as well as some of our own brands. So we've got brands that we sell internationally, mostly in the U.S., in Asia as well. And then we also contract manufacture for a lot of different brands, both supplements, vitamins, as well as food products. So we sell in South America, North America, in both Canada, the U.S. and Mexico, throughout Europe, and also in Asia.
Yeah, no, it just seems like people are, and they're trying to prevent, you know, and just make them have more energy and just make themselves feel better. So I think that's, you know, a big macro trend that we're seeing. Now, I did see on your website you're looking at like a build strategy. Mainly, it sounds like through acquisitions. Right? Okay. So.
Yeah. So the structure in many ways is very formulaic. We only look for profitable companies to acquire. We look for those that, again, are complementary to what we're doing. We have a relatively standard formula, which is, depending on the company and what type of business it is under the nutraceutical umbrella, we'll pay 4 times to 6 times trailing EBITDA. We generally don't pay more than 50% cash. The balance is in a combination of a seller note and then stock in the public company.
Interesting. And Darren, talk about the next 12 months. Say, like, what are your goals as CEO and what do you want to do with the company?
So the next 12 months are going to be very aggressive. There's going to be, you know, sort of a hockey stick is what we talk about with the acquisition strategy. In the past, right before our IPO, we had several small acquisitions now it's going to be larger deals. So as opposed to doing 10 or $15 million revenue companies, the next acquisitions in the pipeline are 40, 50, some even 100 million in revenue. So you'll start to see a nice uptick in the size of our overall company, and that's how we're going to get to that 100 million in revenue that AJ was talking about in 12 months and the 300 million in revenue in 36 months.
Supply chain issues. AJ, do you have something fun?
Yeah, no, I was going to, one of the things I think that's very relevant is the product offerings can be very different. And the benefit of having, as Darren said, captive manufacturing, whether it's capsules or tablets, or in the case of nutritional foods, there's enormous diversification under the public company umbrella, but there's also the ability to cross-market goods and services, products, for instance. As Darren said, with the Greens First acquisition, they spend over $2 million a year in contract manufacturing with a third-party manufacturer. All of that business now migrates to us. Yeah. Okay. So we get the benefit of that. The Sports Illustrated nutrition brand, which we have, because we do these great nutritional food products that can be high protein, low carb, those kinds of things, to not have to go through extensive product development, but because we already create them for Smart for Life, that product. We encourage people to go to YouTube and look at Smart for Life. There's some great videos about the product and the company. That same product then repackaged and branded with that terrific Sports Illustrated brand. If you go into a CVS and you see all the protein bars and you see Sports Illustrated Nutrition with their classic branding, your eye's going to go there. You have the benefit of brand equity as part of that process. So those are some of the benefits that come from having this diversified base of different companies complementing each other.
Okay, very fascinating. Thank you so much, AJ and Darren, for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Welcome everyone to Sekur Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry, along with Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Sekur Private Data. Welcome, Alain.
Thanks. Welcome, Anna, and welcome to our viewer.
All right, so our weekly hack topic is going to be about this phishing campaign that's been targeting thousands of victims, impersonating major brands like FedEx, Microsoft, American Express, and Snapchat domains. They're tricking the victims. They're getting their information. So what can we do to help protect our data out there, Alain? What can we do?
Well, yeah, this is the season now, because if it's not shopping season on Christmas, now it's going to be people traveling. There's also a lot of things happening politically with the midterms. So any kind of information a hacker can get, they're going to trick you. And this was an open redirect, they call it, but there's so many technical ways. The whole thing, and I used to get those too from DHL, or sometimes you have PayPal and a lot of stuff like that. So what happens is when you receive an email, always check who it's from. So if it says FedEx on your phone or your device, then it could be FedEx. If not, just if you see suspicious, shut it down. Don't even click on the thing. Just delete or put it in your junk folder. That's what I would recommend.
That's great advice, common sense. I got an email from PayPal talking about a recent transaction. So instead of replying, and it did encourage me to call, I first checked that number. It was not the PayPal number. And then I went into my own kind of back end of the PayPal, and I didn't have a transaction like that. So I just left it alone. But I have a feeling that this is going to be happening more and more and more. So we are aware of phishing, and common sense is the best protection. Now, besides this phishing that's happening more and more, let's talk about the Sekur platform. It's a private platform, and it's perfect for this volatile political climate that we are living in, and we're about to come into even more because of these midterm elections coming up. There's a lot of issues about our emails, our text messages. So how can we have a confidential and private conversation these days?
Definitely, I'll tell you. And as you tell me that, if you put secure.com on LinkedIn, for example, sometimes people say, go to whatever secure.com in the message, suddenly it tells them that it's like not safe. This is a Microsoft system, obviously. So the reason why I'm telling you, and there's ways to white label it, or whatever they call it, but basically to have your domain cleaned up. The reason why I tell this is that we today have topics that are sensitive to some and not to others, whether it's political, idealistic, and so forth. The one thing for sure is that there is a very big cancel culture out there. The big companies that we all know of do censor. I mean, the other day, Twitter censored the Epoch Times. There was such a rage that they uncensored the domain, the epochtimes.com. And that's just one of many. So if you have conversations, political, personal, medical, anything, that you want to email or chat with someone, do not use SMS, WhatsApp, your typical open tech email, because all those are being read legally, they're being cataloged, and two things will happen. You know, your content will be blocked, and also you'll be categorized as maybe a particular type of user, right? This is real. This is not science fiction. So what I would recommend is this. And it's like, we've had people that suddenly blasted to 50 people these, I'm going to say, political content or conservative views. And then what does it is it harms our domain, because the Microsoft complains, right? It's Microsoft or Google, and then we're red flagged. So what I recommend people to do is that if you want to talk about anything in the world, whether it's like, you know, the next hamburger you had, all the way to what president you want to vote for, and if you're for this or for that, use Sekur with your friends. So let's say your friend doesn't have Sekur, use Secure Send on the email, use chat by invite on Secure Messenger. If not, if we all talk within the secure system, and it's cheap, and I can give you a promo code SECURE15 to get 15% off, between you and your friends, family, whatever, nobody can look in, because if they all have Secure, there's no red flagging of our domain, obviously. And it's important to know, because there's going to be elections, there's going to be midterm, and both political parties are looking to see what people are thinking. But there's definitely a more one leading political party, obviously, that wants to stay in power. This is true in any kind of election in the world, and they will put all the power they have in their hand to read your content, to manipulate you, to send you emails about stuff. So if you want to discuss anything that is private, I would recommend buy Secure Messenger, have your friends do it, and that will guarantee you that you're all kind of in Switzerland and nobody can subpoena that data. I mean, unless you commit a crime that you're searched by Interpol and you kill people in Switzerland, nobody has the right to subpoena that data. On top of that, whatever you delete is deleted down to bare metal. We don't keep any of it. We don't store any metadata. We don't store your fingerprint or anything like that. We don't even store your log, and your IP address is not even recorded, because we scrape some of it in order to keep your anonymity. We just keep the location, because we have people from all over the world buying Secure, and we want to give them the right currency to buy it in. So it's the most anonymous, the most private, and the most secure communication system you can have. And that's what I would recommend.
Well, there you have it. And that's what's becoming valuable these days, having confidential, private, secure conversations in the form of emailing your most precious data, or a simple conversation about how you view the political climate out there. And it's kind of sad that we've come to this, but luckily there are products like Secure out there to help us keep our data private and secure. So as always, Alain, learning so much from you. Thank you so much for doing what you do. And we certainly hope our viewers are taking in this knowledge and changing their lifestyle when it comes to their data privacy.
Thank you. And I want to add one very last thing, because I don't want people to blast their network with our secure email. That will harm our domain. So if you have a list of people, in fact, we limit to 20 people at a time, because we're not a distribution platform. Make sure you use Secure Send. Okay, go to secure.com, watch the tutorial, or have them buy Secure. And then within Secure people, there's no limit to how many people you can send your material to, articles, etc. We've had this happen, and we have had to shut down these people's account because they're harming our domain. So be smart. You want to have a private conversation, get Secure. And that's the only way you can do it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Alain.
Thanks, Anna. Happy to be here, and see you all next week.